In this lesson, we will learn how to divide using long division. So long division is simply the process that we'll go through to find the quotient of two values. And really what it does is it breaks our divisor or dividend into smaller numbers that our divisor will go into. So it breaks this dividend into small parts. So what we'll do is whatever the number the dividend is will always be here in the middle. And I'll start with taking the divisor and see if I can put the divisor into the first digit. So 4 doesn't go into 1 at all. So then instead of breaking it into a piece of 1, I'm going to break it into a piece of 2. So does 4 go into 13? Well, 4 times 1 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12. If I did it times 4, that's 16, that's too many times, but 4 goes into 13 3 times. So 4 times 3 is 12. So what I'm going to do is I'm putting the number, and notice I've put it above the 3 and not above the 1. So I'm putting it as far to the right as the end of my grouping of numbers. And what I'm going to do is leave the 3 up here and then take 3 times 4, which is 12, and write it underneath the 13 and subtract it. So 13 minus 12 is 1. Now, once I get to that point, then I'm going to obviously find the difference and then bring down the next number. So here I just had one more number to bring down, so I just bring down 1. And then I do the same process. So I say, how many times would 4 go into 16 evenly? Well, 4 times 1 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 3 is 12, times 4 is 16. Notice that's going to go in 4 times evenly. 4 times 4 is 16. So I'm subtracting the 16 so I don't have anything left over. So 136 divided by 4 is 34. That is my solution. So essentially what I did was I broke it into a smaller part so I didn't have to go all the way into the 136. So here's just a practice for us to do together. Again, this one's not already written in the long division, so I'm going to put the first number on the inside, 4,325. I'm going to put the divisor on the outside, which is 5. And then again, I'm going to say, does 5 go into 4? No, 4 is too small. So it will go into 43, however. 5 goes into 43 8 times because 5 times 8 is 40. I'm going to subtract 40, so 43 minus 40 is 3, and then bring down the next number. So again, 8 times 5 was 40, that's where I got that number. And if it's helpful for you, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and write all of the multiples meaning 5 times 1, 5 times 2, 5 times 3, 5 times 4, etc. off to the side here. It might be helpful as you're moving forward, especially as you're dealing with larger and larger numbers. So again, this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 5 went into 43 8 times with the 3 left over. I brought down the 2. Now 5 goes into 32. Well, it goes into 36 times, and 6 times 5 is 30. There are 2 left over, and now I bring down the 5. 5 goes into 25 5 times, and 5 times 5 is 25, so there's nothing left over. So the answer is 865. Sometimes we're going to end up with a remainder, which means when we get to the end, that last number is not going to be 0. So let's see what happens when we divide these. I've got 4,325, and I'm dividing it by 3. 3 goes into 4 one time, so I'm going to subtract the 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. Bring down the next one digit. 3 goes into 13, so 3, 6, 9, 12. It goes in 4 times, so 3 times 4 is 12. When I subtract, I get 1, and I bring down the next value. Again, I have 12, so 3 goes into 12 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. And bring down my last number, and 3 goes into 5 only one time. 1 times 3 is 3, And when I subtract, I have 2 left over, but notice there's nothing to bring down. I've already brought every number down. So in this case, I'm going to write my solution as 1,441 with a remainder of 2. Later on in the class, we'll talk about decimals and how to find a more exact answer, but for now, this would be my solution. Go ahead and try these two on your own, then press play to see how you did. For my first one, when I divide, again, the dividend goes on the inside of the bracket and the divisor on the outside. 2 goes into 4 2 times evenly. 2 times 2 is 4. And now I subtract. Bring down the next value and repeat the process. 2 goes into 9, 2, 4, 6, 8. So it goes in 4 times. 2 times 4 is 8. And when I subtract, I have 1 left over. But I can still bring down the next digit. So 2 goes into 13 6 times because 2 times 6 is 12. When I subtract 12, I have 1 left over. I still bring down that last digit. 2 goes into 11 5 times because 2 times 5 is 10. And because I don't have anything left to bring down, that is a remainder. So my solution is 2,465 with a remainder of 1. And my second question, already set up in the long division bracket for me. 7 does not go into 3, but it goes into 34. So 7, 14, 21, 28. If I went to the next one, that would be 35, which is too much. So it goes in 4 times. 7 times 4 was 28. I always subtract. So here I would have to do some borrowing. Oops. 14 minus 8 is 6. And then 2 minus 2 is 0. And then of course I bring down the next number, which is a 3. And then I say how many times would 7 go into 63? So 7, 14, 21, 28, 35, 42, 49, 56, 63. So it goes in 9 times. And 9 times 7 is 63. This one does not have a remainder. So this one, the answer is 49. This one, I did have a remainder.